should men lead in relationships? Now, this mostly I will be talking in the Christian context, because verbally I have heard this again and again. A man is the head of the household and men should lead and wives should submit. Will you submit? Blah blah blah. Again, it is also practiced in India. It's practiced throughout the world wherever there is patriarchy, but it is not said as clearly. But when in my time in the US and in the discourse online, I come across this again and again. Men should lead and provide and protect, and wives should submit. And more than provide or protect, it's always lead, lead, lead. So, from my understanding and the research that I did, this understanding of men should lead and wives should submit has not come directly from Jesus. It has come from Saint Paul the Apostle in Paul's letters in the New Testament. So, Saint Paul and Jesus were near contemporaries, but they had never met each other. But Saint Paul, after Jesus was no longer alive, he was one of the greatest missionaries, and he did a lot of work in propagating Christianity and Christian values across the globe. Okay, now I want to give an example. Gautam Buddha, Siddhartha, when he attained enlightenment, after attaining enlightenment, he refused to ordain women in monkhood for the accounts vary, but some people say for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. He refused to ordain women as monks. He refused to train women so that they also could attain enlightenment. The reasons also are not clear and controversial. Some people say that he believed women could not attain enlightenment. Some say that he didn't want to deal with the potential problems that could arise with women and men both being ordained, and then the society not being favorable for women living as wandering monks. So, whatever the reason, he refused to ordain women for several years, and then later he ordained women into monkhood, essentially saying that yes, women can attain enlightenment. However, female monks were smaller in stature, like in the social stature, than the male monks, and the female monks were supposed to be subordinate to the male monks. They had 8 Guru Dhammas to follow, while the male monks had 5, I think, or 6. And the female monks were categorically told that they are lower in status than the male monks. My point is that somebody, a human being getting enlightenment, a human being having a peek into the ultimate truth, the reality, the nature of God, and wanting to spread that truth, even when it's honest, does not necessarily mean that that human being has erased and undone all the conditioning that they have grown up with, and that the culture has impregnated on their mind. As long as you have a body and as long as you have a mind, you are a product of conditioning. Even if you're a very, very, very religious person, even if you're a very intelligent person, even if you are a enlightened person, even if you're a saint. So, the things that are mentioned by religious leaders, even when those leaders are honest, those things don't always have to be divine universal truths, especially when those things are coming out of a very specific cultural context where the society is essentially patriarchal. So, because a saint said something, that doesn't mean it has to be the divine truth of how God created women and men to be. Number two, and the more important point, is that in India we have a very large culture of religious godmen, religious gurus. In Hinduism, I have grown up seeing that they come to you and they tell you, they convince a bunch of people that they have God, they have an insight into who God is, and they know the way to God. So they want you to follow them, to submit to them, and to do as they say. They will lead you to God. And we have repeatedly grown up hearing, because it's so common in India for religious godmen to pop up and do this. We have grown up hearing any human being who comes to you, whether it's a man or a woman, and says, I want to lead you, I know the path, I know the way to God, to a better life, to your path in life, I know what you should do, so I will lead and you submit, that human being you should run the fuck away from as soon as possible. No honest human being, no human being who has his or her mind at the right place has a desire to lead or dominate another human being. That desire itself comes from something malicious inside you, something narcissistic inside you. It's not a good desire. Even leaders in companies or organizations, the good leaders, mostly leadership happens to them. It's a byproduct of them being very interested in what they are doing and them being very passionate, or whatever it is, they did something right and they have experience. So by as a result of that experience, leadership comes to them and they take it. Somebody starting off with the mindset of I want to lead. Lead in what? You are not good at every single thing that there is to do. Nobody is good at every single thing that there is to do in this world. So, this desire is not born out of an honest mind, it's born out of a corrupt mind. The desire to lead another, whether in companies, in politics, in marriages, or in parent and child relationships. A relationship where the power dynamic is so clearly skewed, even in those relationships, I don't think it's the sign of a good parent who says, I am your leader and I'm going to tell you what to do. The good parent says, you show me who you are, I will learn with you, and I will use the experience that I have in terms of time and in terms of knowledge to nurture who you are. That's a good parent. A parent who says, I am your leader is just a narcissist and they have gotten a person who they can unleash it on. This is my answer. The everything said by religious figures in the context of a particular time does not have to be a divine truth. Enlightenment does not erase all the conditioning that you have been brought up with, and only a corrupt mind has a desire to lead another human being or to establish himself or herself in a position that is superior to another human being. An honest mind does not have that desire.